Before his cancer diagnosis in April of 1991, Michael Landon was known as the strong father figure he portrayed on the classic TV series Little House on the Prairie. The star announced his diagnosis to the public a month later with a press conference and attempted to make light of the illness. According to Michael, he eschewed chemotherapy in order to undergo alternative treatments. Sadly, the actor passed away within the year. Join FactsVerse as we explore why Michael Landon refused chemotherapy. Michael Landon was scared of chemotherapy. According to Michael, he went through a few small doses of chemotherapy, but became averse to the treatment before it came time to start getting bigger doses. Because of this, his chemotherapy treatment came to an end completely. But that doesn't mean the star had given up his battle against cancer. Instead, Michael was dedicating all of his time to alternative treatments that he thought might have a better success rate. At the point Michael's cancer had progressed to, the doctors claimed there was only a 1% chance chemotherapy would work. Michael claimed during his press conference that his first few doses of chemo had been akin to him testing the waters with his toe, and he apparently didn't much like the temperature. Though he said he didn't feel too many adverse side effects, he said he became afraid of chemotherapy anyways. Michael claimed the bigger chemotherapy doses featured things in them the smaller ones didn't, and those were the things that tore up patients' bodies. At the end of the day, he decided the invasive chemotherapy treatments weren't worth the 1% increased chance of surviving his cancer diagnosis. Although Michael didn't attribute the feelings to the chemo itself, the actor claimed that the fear of undergoing the treatment began to become so strong it was making him more ill than the cancer. Chemotherapy certainly isn't a walk in the park, but of course neither is a fight with a terminal illness. While Michael made the decision that he was no longer going to undergo chemo, that didn't mean he would surrender to the disease afflicting him. At the time he put on his press conference, he seemed incredibly passionate about the series of alternative treatments he was undergoing in the wake of giving up chemotherapy. Michael's alternative therapies. Michael claimed the thought of injecting himself with deadly chemicals to combat his cancer was simply too much to bear. So he wanted to seek out less dangerous methods of treatment that could potentially be just as effective. This included making major changes to both his lifestyle habits and his diet. He began working out and playing tennis more, and began eating copious amounts of fruits and vegetables. He also looked for a solution to his woes using alternative therapies such as acupuncture and meditation. He also swore by the coffee enema, which, he shared with reporters at his press conference, is one of the best ways in the world to treat intestinal irritation. He added that the coffee he used for his enemas was certified organic. He drank 13 glasses of juice a day before his death. When it came to fruits and vegetables, Michael wasn't content to simply consume a salad a day. Instead, he arguably took it overboard by consuming what he claimed to be over a dozen glasses of juice per day. His preferred juice allegedly consisted of apples, carrots, and beets. He joked during the press conference that the massive amounts of carrot juice he was ingesting was making him turn orange. Sadly, it seems the juice consumption wasn't enough to make the star's cancer go away. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like, and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already, and stick around for more about Michael Landon. The actor sought advice from cancer survivors. To get ideas for alternative treatments and lifestyle changes, Michael claims to have tracked down numerous surviving cancer patients who had managed to overcome the illness using one method or another. Michael was apparently able to get in touch with numerous people who had recovered from the disease, and he used what he learned to develop his own cancer-fighting routines. But the actor claimed the more he found out from these various survivors, the more he was unsure about any specific cancer treatment working more than another. According to him, it seemed the efficacy of the various treatments was largely situational. He tried everything in the kitchen sink. Perhaps as a result of being unsure, Michael seems to have taken the everything in the kitchen sink approach in his efforts to ward off his pancreatic and liver cancer during the final months of his life. He often received unsolicited advice from fans, but it seems the majority of this advice didn't meet his standards. Before his death, Michael made fun of one fan who had written him a letter suggesting that he go swimming with dolphins in the hopes that their sonar cries would destroy his disease. While Michael was apparently willing to try out coffee enemas and visualization sessions where he would simply sit around and imagine his cancer leaving, he wasn't willing to try out swimming with dolphins. Michael had 3 wives and 9 kids. In the months following his diagnosis, the actor spent the majority of his time on his ranch with his wife and children. That was in Malibu, California, and Michael's 3rd wife was the one by his side at the time. The star had 9 children over the course of his life and had a propensity for cheating on his wives. In fact, both of Michael's subsequent wives following his first were mistresses he had cheated on the prior one with. At the time of his death, he was just 54. The actor tried to stay in good spirits. Besides Little House on the Prairie, the public also knew Michael for his performances on Bonanza and Highway to Heaven. He certainly was a beloved star, and he was also a creative force behind the scenes. He'd been a producer on Little House on the Prairie, and it had been much more than his performance as the character of Pa Ingalls that made the TV series such a massive success. The actor also announced his diagnosis on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. During his press conference and his television appearance, Michael was in good spirits and had a sense of humor about his cancer diagnosis. He also claimed that much of the pain he'd been experiencing around the time of his diagnosis had gone away. However, things quickly took a dark turn, and he died shortly afterwards. Michael had a minuscule chance of surviving regardless. It's important to remember that Michael's cancer had progressed a great deal by the time he was diagnosed, and there was very little chance of him surviving regardless of what treatment options he chose. It might seem funny to some to insinuate coffee enemas may have been the culprit in the actor dying so suddenly, but the fact of the matter is Michael had simply fallen victim to a disease that there was very little chance of ever getting the upper hand on at that point. Did Little House on the Prairie kill Michael Landon? In the many decades since his passing in 1991, some have speculated the actor may have gotten cancer as a result of working on the set of Little House on the Prairie. The reasoning is Little House was filmed on a location where there had been a partial nuclear reactor meltdown in the late 50s. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Michael Landon? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.